It's 11 minutes after 8 o'clock, and it's time for Island Tea. TGIT.
Morning to everybody. Pleasant Thursday. It's Thursday, the 17th of August. Wow, we have already made it just past half of the month. So we are, of course, it is Leo season as well for those persons who are tuned with the zodiac signs and readings. And it is a beautiful Thursday morning here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to say a pleasant morning again to those persons who are listening via radio, those persons who are engaged on the Facebook, the and other media platform like the YouTube. Today is a wonderful day. I'm hoping that everyone has a wonderful day today. A quote that I want to share this morning is one about success. And so it is a quote that says, I never dreamed about success. I worked for it. And that is a quote by Lauder. It's Estée Lauder, and she says, I never dream about success. I worked for it. So she is saying here basically that she has worked for the success and that we ought to work for the success that we want. I mean, we dream about success, and I think dreaming is important. But also, in addition to dreaming, we must not only dream by conceptualizing what we want, but we should put that concept into action. And so we ought to, go forth and work and achieve those things that we want to achieve. And so let's not only be dreamers, let's be doers, let's be workers.
Let's not do the magical thinking thing where you figure if you think, I want to win $1 million, and then you think that it's just going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Even though you're supposed to have
no
positive
input from you.
Positive thinking, you think positive, and then you make those actions count. And so this morning we have a number of things in the news. I saw things being circulated, and I have seen in the news, I'm just going to pull up something. I have seen in the news that there is going to be a PLP conference, or PLP press conference this morning. I saw it earlier, and those things when you see and then you don't see again. It's crazy how life works. But I saw that there is to be PLP conference, press conference. Yes, I see it now. So the People's Labour Party press conference, and it's at 10 a.m. this morning. And the venue is the Marriott Hotel Dominica Room. And it is scheduled today, Thursday the 17th. And we know that the People's Action Movement had its press conference last week. It had its press conference just exactly 1 week ago, Thursday. The People's Action Movement would have graded the performance of the Labour Party, the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, after 1 year in office. So it begs the question, what is it that the People's Labour Party is going to speak about? We can assume that it's going to be on the performance of the government as well. That is a reasonable, I think, assumption. However, because we have no indication of what is going to be spoken of based on what I have seen so far, maybe persons might have seen more information than I have. And so if I'm going on what I believe, then I feel it's going to be the performance, the 1 year performance of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, but we don't know what else could be in store. And so we know that the People's Action Movement, just as I said before last week, and the People's Action Movement would have highlighted a number of promises made by the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, which they felt, or the party felt, have still gone unfulfilled. And based on this unfulfilled promises, the People's Action Movement returned a grade D for the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party and would have clarified why they have given them the D. And so based on what the People's Action Movement indicated, they said, if I could remember correctly, D is for delinquent, deceitful, and disgraceful. So let's see what the People's Labour Party is going to say this morning. And then I see at 2 o'clock, is 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock? Let me try to get the information as well. At 2 o'clock, Thursday 17th, we have a press, well, it's not a press conference, it's the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew appearing on Issues SKN. And so, again, we don't know what this appearance is about. It could be in relation to the press conferences that would have already been held by two parties, that being the People's Action Movement. And then today, recognizing that the PLP is having theirs at 10, at the time that the Prime Minister is to be on air, they will have already been two press conferences. So one...
It's very busy in the political arena.
Very busy.
Number two is the playoffs.
So it's...
Clearly, right?
Yeah.
Is this a response to the press conferences of the People's Action Movement and the PLP? Is it is it just information being given from the Prime Minister, perhaps having nothing to do at all with the press conferences by either party? And so we are left to speculate. As you say, it's very interesting in the political realm at this point in time. It's always been quite interesting in St. Kitts.
But recently there have been a lot of the ruling party supporters complaining and crying out and, you know, going live, making it known on Facebook and all other social media outlets. So I think it's a good time to have a press conference.
Yes.
It's a good time to speak out.
In fact, I am happy that you say that. And the reason why I say that, I'm happy that you say that, because yesterday I saw a post and by a supporter of the Labour Party indicating that that individual cannot be a politician. And the reason being is because the person believes that persons who have benefited from the party are speaking out. And in the same post, it makes mention to the government giving or minister giving someone a job. And I responded that, you know, I don't think that is a fair comment, because it is for the government and ministers to provide employment for its citizens. And if those citizens are provided with employment, those citizens still have a voice. Those citizens still should be able to criticize and should be able to voice the opinion, whether in support of what is being done or by saying this is what is not being done. So if
you give me something, I can't comment on it? Like you give me coffee, I can't say it's too hot?
Exactly. So that's a good point.
Interesting concept.
And so I am wondering if it is that some of us are encouraging us not to be citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, but slaves to ministers who might have given us an opportunity in which opportunities by government ought to be given.
I always feel like there should always be room for critique. You know, how do I know if I am doing something wrong or something that might rock the boat, however you want to phrase it, if I don't get feedback? And so it's not always negative. Like, I listen to EK every day, and EK had a whole segment, and I know there were a lot of persons that tuned in because everybody knows where his political affiliations are, because he makes it known. But he was basically telling them to pull up your socks, get your act together. And a lot of persons criticized him for that. But my thing again is, if I'm a supporter and I feel like you're going the wrong way and I am trying desperately to save you or give you a heads up, what is wrong with that?
Exactly. And in fact, we had the Calypso King, the former Calypso King, in one of his songs, King Conris. I remember a song, trying to remember the name of the song, but I remember when he said, if Dr. Denzel Douglas was to listen to his many criticisms, then he'll be Labour again. So if it is, yes, he said that in the Calypso.
Explain that.
he said, what I'm trying to say, that sometimes
No,
we
I'm
take,
trying to understand the lyrics. So explain it. Yeah.
he said, I think it's Finish the Song. Was it Finish the Song?
I'm wondering because when you started, I thought it would be Finish the Song.
I think
but
it's
I can't
Finish the
remember
Songs.
that
And
line.
he mentioned in that song that if Dr. Douglas
Oh, I
was
think I see what you mean.
to listen to his many criticisms,
They'd
it would
win
be
again
labor again.
easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so sometimes maybe when these supporters are criticizing, maybe it is
But,
for the
but-
party to do better. And
But at the
if
same time, when have you heard Congress criticized and that we actually
I'm
heard
not
the criticism?
I'm not talking about
No, I'm just
him
a
the
question.
person. I'm
Just a
talking
question.
of- yeah, I
because
know.
one of the criticisms at the time was that he never ever criticized or critiqued the Labour government.
Really?
Yeah, I've had friends who said that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
because he used to say, "Oh, I'm apolitical."
Mm-hmm.
And you notice his songs with all these high-flown David Rudder-esque kind of lyrics and whatever.
No.
And he never dealt with the politics directly.
Right.
The only politics he dealt with was the calypso politics.
Right. I always feel like if something is going wrong, you should have an outlet to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't see an issue with it. I don't care who is in power. If something is going awry, it's not helping the country. Like for instance, the gas price. People need to say something.
I agree. But my point about Congress was that if he's going to say that, he should make his critique. At the time, it would have been nice if he had made the critiques of the Labour Party.
Well, based on what Azard is saying, I guess he did to an extent.
Well, I'm not even talking about him, the person. I'm just.
I know,
stating
but I'm
about
just saying.
the
I'm just
lyrics
talking
in the
about.
song.
Yeah.
I'm just
And
saying.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're going literal. In terms of-
because he didn't say that.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Maybe you could have had a verse
Yes.
with the criticisms.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
I see what you're saying there. But the point that I was making is that we are not shy from being criticized. And I think as public officials, I know we are all humans, but once the criticism could be made in a respectful manner,
Yeah.
sometimes I say, if someone is to criticize the way in which I do something and they come to me and they do it respectfully, it's a chance for me to think, is this something that is personal or is this something that is really supposed to benefit me? And if I employ or put in or try to do what this person is saying to avoid what I've been doing wrong, then would it benefit or would it increase my value?
I'm
and
glad
so
you
it's
said that.
something that we can look at.
So one of the reasons I came in late yesterday was because I went to Rotary meeting and we had a speaker. It was Curtis Martin. And I thoroughly enjoyed his presentation because his topic was
Your
the
speaker
best
was
me.
a speaker.
His speaker was the speaker, literally, right? I think we kind of did rub him about that. But the topic was the best me, right? The best
Yes.
you. And one of the things he spoke about was the blind window. So he spoke about, different windows in your life. And he spoke about the blind window. And that stayed with me because the blind window, of course, is the window that you are not seeing, but everyone else is seeing.
Your blind spot.
Right? And so he said, one of the things you should do is speak to persons that are, not to downgrade anyone, but speak to persons that maybe are beneath you, like your workers, somebody that works for you, your employee. Speak to somebody that's above you, that maybe you're a supervisor, so you go speak to your bigger boss and ask them what they think about you, because if they're honest, you'll get a true version of how people see you. So people might think that you are a snoot and you're snobby, and you in your head thinking like, oh, I'm a real friendly person, I'm such a nice person. But have other persons tell you the way that they view you so that you can see, you can get an insight into that blind spot. You can see, well, okay, so if this is how persons view me, then I'm not who I really think I am. And you might have to shift and change. And so I think it's essential for criticism. I think most of the times you don't want to hear it, right? Because nobody wants to know that they're not doing what they think they're doing, or they're not perfect, or however you're trying to portray yourself. That's not how people see you.
It's the 8:26.
But-
I don't know if you guys want to take a call.
Sure,
wow.
sure. Welcome,
Caller.
callers, yes.
Island, go right ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Hey.
Good morning,
Very
Mr.
interesting
McMahon.
person. Yeah. One of the hardest thing I think for politicians to get over is the fact that when they're out of power, they see everything that's wrong, right? They see all the conflict of interest, they see all the corruption, they see everything that is wrong with the government. But once they get in there, it's like they're in a totally different world.
Yep.
You know, they're in an echo chamber where, in most cases, they surround themselves with people, like-minded people, who basically themselves are inclined to always condone and prop up and praise rather than give constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. And that is where I think they fail, okay, when they do not listen to whether opposing views or the people on the ground, okay? They're more inclined towards self-promotion than anything else, right? And that can be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
One thing, as I said, though, a politician give you a job because that's what they're expected to do. I think that, I know it happens here, but I am not so sure that is the best route for politicians. They are supposed to look at the bigger picture and provide the environment for people to get jobs, as opposed to having, this constant check to constituency offices with people begging for jobs.
I'm happy you said
well,
supposed to. I'm happy you
Mr.
said supposed to.
Before, because it's something that I said. So let me clarify before it's taken or misinterpreted. When I say get them a job, when I said the opportunity should be there, we elect persons, and yes, to create the environment so persons could get jobs. But there might be a minister who sees the potential or talent in somebody and said, go to the permanent secretary, go to whatever offices and fill out whatever application. So I'm not saying they just give them the job. What my point was that even if that minister would have been instrumental in perhaps proposing that you get the job, instrumental in perhaps giving you the job, or even just say check the office, or the government gives you a job, you shouldn't feel obligated to the point that you can speak out because you feel as though they have given you something which in reality they're supposed to create opportunities.
Okay, I understand that, but when you say that though, what comes to mind is when the ex-prime minister, I think to understand the point, he got up and made a comment about his politics give you that job and you wouldn't even...
Oh, no. I wasn't... Yeah.
10 sentences or something like that.
I wasn't even thinking in specially appointed positions or that.
Huh?
I wasn't thinking in the realm of specially appointed positions.
Well, I mean, we should look at it in terms of all positions. I mean, the fact is, human nature being what it is, right? The tendency to feel, for people who in power to feel, that if they provide you with, they made a direct intervention in providing you a particular opportunity, that you should be forever grateful.
Yes.
And don't dare criticize.
Correct.
That's just the nature of things.
It is,
and that is where a lot of them get into trouble.
It is amazing, and there are persons who foster and spread that kind of thinking and make people feel as though they don't have a voice, and that why are you complaining about? You got a job. Why are you complaining about? So,
Yeah.
So if there's an increase in crime, if you realize certain promises aren't fulfilled, why are you complaining about? You ain't just get a job the other day? Okay.
Yeah, that is the mentality.
Yeah.
That is the exact mentality that I think we suffer from, right? And it's been like this for a long time, okay? And that is one of the features, I think, of certainly one of the aspirations of people when they change government, that they really expect the incoming government to be different, to do things differently, not fall into the same traps like previous government, but I don't know. Maybe it's asking for too much, or the usual response when people make comments like this is you don't know politics. You're
Okay, Mac.
You have another caller?
No, 8:31. We need to take a break and then we can come back and continue.
Mr. McMahon,
Okay. All right then.
Okay.
Feel free to call back.
Feel free to call back. Thank you.
here. The final member of the Scratch and Win Multiplier Suite. You can win over $875,000 in cash prizes with the new 20X The Cash game from the Caribbean Lottery. This excellent new $5 game is an easy way for you to multiply your money. You can even play it with our other multiplier games like 50X and 100X The Cash to maximize your winnings. So, play the new Scratch game, 20X The Cash, today. Available at Caribbean Lottery retail agents island-wide. Must be ages 21 and over to play.
Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society presents its annual Summer Emancipation Festival. It takes place on Sunday, 20th August, starting at 3 p.m. sharp. Admission, $15 for adults, $5 for children. Come and be entertained in the art forms of calypso, dance, folklore, and much more. This event is sponsored by the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank, Caribbean Credit Card Corporation Limited, Elco Limited, and TDC Group of Companies. See you this coming Sunday.
50,000?
$50,000?
$50,000? Win big with TDC! Win up to $50,000 cash in the TDC Mega Rewards Mega Raffle! To enter, you must be a Mega Rewards member or sign up to TDC Mega Rewards Loyalty Program. Shop at our TDC retail stores or online at shoptdcgroup.com to receive one entry for every $250 spent. Draws take place from July to November. Win $10,000 every month with your entry rolled over so you can win, and win even more.
Yes, this is 50.
Terms and conditions apply.
Island Tea continues. It's 8:33, and we go straight back to the phone lines. Island Tea, you're on. Okay, I guess here we have another call. Island Tea, go ahead.
Donor, greetings and love.
Hey, go ahead.
Good morning, I'm Brother Jamster.
Hey, what's up?
I'm thankful for the love of the Almighty and my fiction of Mother Zion. How you morning, guy?
Mother Lion, I like
Oh,
that.
my.
You got a big name.
I know.
We have to remember that. And call it that
Give
for
thanks
now.
and good day, Brother Azard. Strength of the Almighty, blessed morning to the eye.
Thank
And to your
you.
listeners,
Morning to you as well.
Give thanks. It's very important that I had to call in at this point in time to outline something that is very historical to I and I as people of African descendants. But the Marcus Garvey today is his outlight that make him, in the time that he had come to change his physical appearance to I and I, till he leave in the spiritual 1940. I would like to say, with much respect and honor, we say happy outlight to the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who will be able to blaze the fire through the light of liberation and integrity in all African people throughout the whole world. And this is the time that our people have to realize the things that we are emphasizing now, considered towards as politics or politics, is not basically something just start new. But it's just how we as a people have to direct our affairs in the proper way that need to give us a better sense of dignity and courage. That's why you see these jokers, what we call as politicians, is doing the people them like that. And continue doing it because we people say we got something called the right to vote. But you have something still beyond the sense of right to vote. Our agitation for equality, justice, and prosperity. You talk only when you break your sermon as success from somebody's statement. But we don't look at success alone. We look at sustainable advancement for all people of this world. Because when we look at how we see so many people emphasize success, even though they say they work for it, the full aspect of it don't intake to the people that need the support in all that concept of success. Because there's so much money in this world and you still see people suffering under this whole criminal aspect of what we call a society and a global world, where so much famine confined by wars and distress to our humanity. Where can we go from here? So we say thankful for this farmer today. With the light that you all are shining, but don't give up on the fight because the struggle still continue. History will repeat itself if we don't say the things that need to be said. These politicians is not nothing of it, but we have to chase is the commerce, the industrial complex that these people support under our watch. And we don't have a say to say because we are not on the table. We are just a crumb feeder. But bless you all safely. Keep positive because the truth will reveal. I have a love.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Have a
much
good
for your
one.
call. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, caller. And do have a pleasant day as well.
And I don't think that we what should I say? Maybe teach the kids in schools, especially enough about Marcus Garvey and how influential he was in the U.S. especially.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't realize how he was hugely influential and still is, like with the Black Panthers and
It's funny that you say that because just listening to the caller, it took me to a place where I'm now thinking like, what are we really teaching children? Like, what are we really putting out there? And there's like a little clip that I think Junie plays every day, and it says, talking about not his story, but our story.
Our story.
And it's the way that you put things over. And something that the caller just said about dignity.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back to exactly what Azard has been saying, and I've been pushing. You need to be able to have a voice.
Christmas tree. What's going on? Let's go.
Hello, good morning.
Auntie, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Oh, fine here in the trio together.
Yes.
The trio.
Yes.
It makes a difference to have a woman, Yeah. You see how Adam was walking around and the guy looking stupid? So I said, look, you
She
got
whipped
all
him into
these
shape,
things
right?
easy. You know what I mean? And then he got in nerve after he done everything that the woman give me. Woman give you, woman and push it down your throat. Anyway. Good morning, Journey.
Oh, my.
Now, I heard a news which has me a bit unbalanced. Given the thing from the cabinet report.
Are you talking about the U.S. Embassy?
Yes.
We're actually going to touch that later.
You talk about it already?
No, but we
had it lined
we
up.
had it lined up.
I mean, I said, wait. Where do we matter? He is pursuing getting an embassy here, and they have to bring the people to protect the assets. Where are you going to put them? We are already small, can rule ourselves.
No, but
You're
usually
bringing them to take over the country? And this thing was done, they tried it before, One time Dr. Douglas was in Puerto Rico at an American thing. And the Americans were wanted to put a thing on one of the islands in Puerto Rico. And he offered St. Kitts.
Imagine.
And this one here, Dr. Joe, to me, I mean, he said training Cuba, I don't know what he learned. You're going to tell me, you're going to bring the U.S. Embassy here. How many countries near us to use it? Montserrat, Anguilla. The other countries are near Barbados. You understand?
but they did have one in Antigua, so
And they pull it out and carry it. Yes, because I got my first visa in Antigua. They took it out of Antigua and they took it to Barbados because they say it will be more accessible for the other countries. But the idea, we already, they're going to disrupt everything. Because we are already having trouble with our citizenship. They're going to say who could come and who can't come. We have a Venezuelan embassy here, a Bolivian one here, we have a Cuban one here, we have a lot of Russians and other people, the Chinese live here. What exactly are we expecting? I mean, the idea, I find it very offensive. The matter should have been discussed before you reach in cabinet. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Well, I have an article here from WINNFM, and it says during the U.S. Caribbean leaders meeting in the Bahamas in June 2023, United States Vice President Kamala Harris announced that the Biden-Harris administration had begun the process of establishing 2 new embassies and an additional diplomatic support presence in the Eastern Caribbean. In this regard, the cabinet has taken the decision to have St. Kitts and Nevis host a U.S. embassy to strengthen the relationship and partnership with the United States of America. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis continues to regularly meet with and engage U.S. officials on this subject and awaits the decision of the U.S. with optimism. The
So
primary
what about the decision of the citizens?
But you know, the ending part, I
Yes.
think, is what they're trying to use to sell it, right? Because the primary purpose of the U.S. Embassy is to assist American citizens who travel or live in the host country. Additionally, it provides non-citizens with a hub in the Caribbean to access visa options. Host countries see added airlift from the people in the region and increase in job opportunities and more. The presence of an embassy would also see the presence of the U.S. military in the host
That's the
country
part
so
I
the
don't like.
U.S. can protect its assets. And I feel like from additionally to assets is what they're using as the selling point. Oh, you're going to get more jobs. Oh, it's an opportunity. Oh, there's more airlifts. Oh, the military is going to be here.
I mean, people
there
have
are
been
so many
trouble all
things
over
that
the
we're
place.
missing.
But wouldn't you?
But listen to me. They have so many enemies,
U.S.
right?
military here.
Let me-
They have so many enemies.
Okay, Barbados has been hosting the U.S. Embassy. What negative impact has Barbados in hosting the U.S. Embassy faced?
That's a very good
That's
question.
a question to ask.
That's a very good
Barbados, must
question
I?
because you know, like they said, it's increased airlift. Everybody now goes to Barbados, and you can't get your stuff done in a day, thanks to that. But you have to stay now 3-4 days, so you had to stay in a hotel. So it's increased, right? That's fine, but we have a CBI program here that
That's what
has
I'm saying. And
currently
we have citizens.
undergone a bunch of changes. Like every day, it's a new
But-
change.
so
Is
let's-
this gonna have
Yeah,
an
that's what I'm
effect on
thinking,
our
because
program?
But let's say.
Wait,
Okay,
Azard.
go ahead, Miss Henry.
A number of our citizens, they consider the enemies.
Who consider them enemies?
The American consider a number of our citizens who obtain it to the citizenship by investment program.
But then one must
they
ask the
can't come on.
question. One must ask the question. We have seen already the changes in the program. How long is the
But you know-
program? How long is the program going to be viable? And if it is not a viable
a
option,
question.
Then why are we
Nobody
getting
asks, nobody
changes all
knows.
of a sudden?
And-
Because we're getting pressured.
but if it's
By
not
who?
but if it's not a viable option and it continues to make changes as per the UK, as per the US, shouldn't we be looking at opportunities where we can therefore build in a different aspect? You see, when I think about the US Embassy,
Look, we're balling about colonialism. We have neo-colonialism. We know wherever they go, they suppress. Look at Jamaica the other day. Jamaica's an embassy. Right?
Someone just messaged me and say, what about the military coming here and helping us with the crime situation? That might be
Really?
I think
They have it
No,
in
but the military-
Chicago,
What do
they
we
can't
think?
control.
No, but the military
They have
only
it in
tends
New
to
York,
be
they can't
for
control.
embassy
For them.
protection.
I think we should.
No, no, no.
Is a first discussion. I think that we should perhaps explore it's for the government to explain.
It would be good for us to do an
But
analysis.
let's look at
and see
it.
the pros and
Barbados
cons.
has hosted the U.S. Embassy, another country within our region. What has been the negative for it?
The Barbados haven't. Is there any base in Barbados? No.
Yeah, everybody goes to Barbados to. No, you mean the military
Base,
base?
a
Oh,
base.
military.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, there's no base.
No.
Not to my
Well,
knowledge.
that is something that we
No.
could discuss, and we could ask questions as to what extent would the arrangement be. But on the face of it, I mean, I'm being honest based on how I'm thinking and trying to be objective. Having the embassy here, looking at the positives, it would be increased airlift because we know a lot of
Right.
people travel to Barbados just to get the visa application.
So
we know,
excuse me, where in the Caribbean you think from which end they would start to come to St. Kitts?
well, we could market St. Kitts as a
To
viable
St.
option.
Vincent and St. Lucia and Grenada, which next door to Barbados?
I mean, again, these are questions, and it's for the government
Look.
to present the reason
Well, it's a second
why.
option, right? Like if, for instance, right now Barbados is backed up from since COVID. You can't get any appointments. So if they have it here, then they'll travel here because that's another option. But I still think that we need to lay all the cards on the table
Yes.
and look at the pros and the cons
Yes.
because some of it
That's
is
what I'm
rubbing me
saying.
the,
Before it
the
reached
wrong
into
way.
cabinet, the matter should have been aired publicly.
Yes.
To
Well,
get the public feedback.
yes,
You
but
mean like
All
a
right, then.
referendum? Thank you so much for calling, Miss Henry. Maybe like a referendum, but then do those ever work? Do they listen to us? Remember that supposed
Sure,
referendum we
sure.
had about the monarchy that
No, they
none
don't
of us
listen to us.
participated in?
I mean, you see the Republicans, for example, bullishly going forward with the abortion thing, and
Oh
they're
my gosh.
ignoring the polls that show that
Exactly.
even Republicans are
And people
against.
protesting, they're ignoring everything.
Yes,
This is what
so,
they want.
You know, but Azard, actually, what I realized is, remember when we were talking about it earlier, because I didn't hear the story from the beginning. I actually thought it was us who had proposed it. I didn't realize it was the U.S. government who was proposing adding another embassy. So that makes it even. Also,
And when I think about the benefits, again, we talk about the military, but I'm just thinking as it, economical.
I think on balance it should be a positive.
I think so, but because I don't know some persons are apprehensive or
Just as long as they don't
fearful
come
about
here.
the US.
Because they always have hidden agendas. I'm sorry.
But we have to take things as it's going. We have made changes to our CBI program. Are those changes going to negatively affect the US? No.
No.
So at the point in time, shouldn't we therefore venture into other avenues to create revenue?
I actually think one of the things y'all not looking at is if we do get the embassy, one of the things that's going to happen is that our airlift will increase.
Right, we said that.
Without even us really trying, in the sense that a lot of airlines will be like, oh, okay, these people want to go to, there's an embassy in St. Kitts now.
Right, so you see, that's it. I feel like it's a double-edged sword, and with anything, you need to view the pros and the cons. So, like the article said, and I think that might be one of the selling points: additional airlifts, new increase in jobs, hotel stays, that type of thing. So there are good points. My problem is what's the part that we're not seeing?
You guys want to hold it on?
Yes.
Call? Go ahead.
Sure. Hi, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
Yes.
I'm sorry to say, but I think the last caller there, I have a lot of respect and regard for her, but I don't think she understands this thing about United States. And I somehow believe she's anti-American. United States has an embassy in Grenada, but only certain things are done there. Because I think Grenadians still have to go to Barbados to process green card and so forth.
Okay.
So if you all look at a certain embassy and see what derives from having it there, how many thousands of people we have living in all over the United States? My very children are citizens of the United States. Anywhere you go in the world, you have racism, you have prejudice, all sorts of things. But you have to find a way to maneuver. I am glad if a U.S. embassy comes here. I am truly, truly glad. It does not have to operate on a big scale, say like in Barbados.
Right, like limited operations.
Just limited. They know what they're up to. They can discuss with whatever. I ain't like the idea that they question to get it. I tell you the truth, from a political point of view. But nothing. I would glad if it comes here.
Fair enough.
Very, very glad. You think it's easy to take up 1,000 something to fly to Barbados to get an interview in the embassy, and then you lose out?
Yeah, you're right.
Some gonna win, some gonna lose.
I have someone who says hosting.
And a couple of other, let me say a couple
go
other
ahead.
little things quickly.
Go ahead.
You all mentioned something, but I think Mr. Gumbs, something about Candisie. Candisie said to Tony Frederick a few years ago that on Win FM that he's not interested in politics. If I lie, I die.
Wow.
He said so to Tony Frederick. Because she asked me if he's interested in going into the political arena. He said no. And so forth. I don't know what persuaded him to change his mind. And lastly, I don't know if any of you heard that in Singapore, they arrested a lot of people. Let me put it in colloquial terms. Involving in money laundering and the whole heap of things. Including person with St. Kitts with passport.
Oh my. Are you able to
don't
send
know
us
if
the
you all
article?
heard that. I heard it on BBC.
Wow.
So, check out that and see.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll
Anyway,
check
that's
into it.
Thank you so much. I have an opinion because persons are messaging me as well as it come to the American embassy, and someone has said, do they really benefit the local territories? Most people are excited really only about the ease of applying for a U.S. visa. However, the presence of U.S. embassies lead to stronger U.S. military presence and operations of the CIA, and the greater opportunities for direct political interference. And sadly, our counterintelligence is not strong enough. Our political maturity is also so weak that we do not even know how these large, powerful countries use their embassies to our disadvantages.
Oh my.
There are also factors to be considered. So that is the one of the opinions that has been expressed by someone who is listening.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I like.
Oh, we have another call.
Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
I call back quickly. Youngster, I don't know if you believe in the Bible or even in Christianity, you know. I hear you say something which you shouldn't say. Because God created kings. He anointed them. And you have always talking about soccer, king and all of that. You should not be saying so. But anyway, from Bible times...
You're talking about the so-called royal family in England, huh?
People used to...
The glorified land thieves and warlords. Okay, all right.
Okay. Jamsa, please.
Duly
let me
noted.
finish.
Wait, let me hear the man.
Let him finish, Jamsa.
Jeez.
Jamsa, let me finish. In the Bible, even when you had rules of kings and all of that, they used to send out people to spy, you know. So even if America, why America and spy and saying it, but they may take a closer look at the citizenship by investment and other things that we don't know, because they have technology that we will never get. We're just a little, very smallest country in the Western Hemisphere, smallest nation. Singapore, we should look at. Happy half of Singapore and see what they do. So, we shouldn't be alarmed about nothing. We should more alarmed about people living in the United States. People dying to go there and to go to Europe. What about them about spying and all them?
Caller, someone has...
America got spies all over the world.
Someone has said too, caller, that...
all them there got spies all over the world.
Someone has said that they are
I know
likely...
we benefit from the United States.
Yeah. Caller,
we benefit tremendously from the United States. We
Caller.
cannot benefit from nowhere else.
Okay, caller.
We benefit from the United
Let
States.
Azard want to make a point.
And I want them get the embassy here.
Okay,
Because
then.
me, I'll be glad.
Okay,
But
awesome.
don't beg for it.
What you think
Anyway,
about... Before you go, I wanted to engage you. Before you go.
Yeah,
I was saying someone said that they are likely to use their base here to to affect our political activities and cause considerable harm to our neutrality and independence.
I don't see that easily. Looking at how United States operate, I am a very young person. I'm kind of oldish. I've been following these things for a long, long time. Sometimes they cut back from relation. When you see they put an embassy in anybody's country, they're going to have a certain certain level of relation. Sometimes they're in the embassies, all embassies, well, especially those who got ambition, like to take over people country like China and Russia and them there. America don't take over nobody's country, you know. America go in people country and help to make peace. And then they come out. May know that they occupy nobody's place except somewhere in Cuba. I could understand that. Guantanamo. And Okinawa in Japan. But Japan come from enemy to one of the best friends. So, United States been doing a good job in keeping the peace around the world from the aggressor. A lot of people, they get ungodly, so they get anti-American. If you don't want to believe me, that's a matter to you. But I observe that in my life. I see it all around. More people get ungodly, they ain't understand what's going on in the world. But they just want to be anti-American. All kind of foolishness they read. And somebody put up things on whatever site, and they just swallow them up. But the world got to go on. God sent America there, set up America, especially look at the history. I don't want to go into that now.
Thank you so much for your input.
You know, develop over the years. No other country has done that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You
know, have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
You know, there's American embassy in Guyana, and to his point, they actually do assist when there's political issues. I don't know if you guys remember in 2020, there was a big issue with the elections in Guyana. And the ruling party had a whole back and forth with the recount and this count and that count, and eventually they lost the elections and the opposition took over. But I think the most America did was just issue statements for people to be calm and stuff like that. So, hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Now, the last caller stated that, well, let me paraphrase. He's saying that Mrs. Henry is anti-American. Now, in all that he just put out there, right, by painting America to be a peacemaker. Now, let us ask ourselves this. Is America all-inclusive outside of America? Is America inclusive outside of America? Because now he's talking about what America have done. The kind of oldish guy I'm referring to, the last caller. But really, let us look at what is happening. America is a part of NATO. Everywhere that NATO have gone, what have they done? What has America done? And talking about, coming up against those who, my words, rebel. What gave America the right? What gave NATO and Europe the right to impose what they impose on other race of people in their own spaces? I mean, it is sickening to hear what he's saying. We're not against America, but why should America have dominance over other people in their own spaces? It is really sickening in this day and age that we're going to swallow everything that they throw at us. Guys,
Journey,
now, I've mentioned a couple
before
names already.
Journey, before you continue, right? Just if you could be succinct and just give some of the negatives that you think, because based on what you have said so far, you seem to oppose the U.S. Embassy. Just briefly state why you oppose.
Okay, sorry. Let me clarify. Probably I didn't understand you guys was talking about the embassy.
Yes.
But maybe I missed that.
Okay, because
what I'm saying is, right, the history is there. The footprints are there.
We're talking about the embassy, though. The U.S. embassy being here.
Okay, then I'll pause and just listen. I didn't realize you was talking specifically about embassy.
Yes.
Okay.
So
right.
somebody has messaged me and said that we are an independent country with an embassy in the United States. It is the first part of a diplomatic process. So this person is saying that we have our embassy in the United States, we have stuff in the United States, and we're still an independent country, and they still are an independent country. So I'm assuming that what happens if the reverse is here?
Exactly. Okay, it's we got 1 minute to 9 o'clock. We have our next guest here, Percy Hanley. They have their emancipation, the Bremerton coming up. So we're gonna have Percy next. Let's take a break.
Yes, we're gonna take a break.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Get ready for the Cube, a business expo hosted here in beautiful St. Kitts at the Marriott on Friday, August 18. The Cube will feature creative products and services from Sabre, Stacia, St. Martin, St. Kitts, and Nevis. Explore a world of creativity. General admission is free. Doors open 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. See you at the Cube on Friday, August 18.
The biggest party in sport is back for 2023. And the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots will need your support at Warner Park. CPL will be bigger, better and louder than ever before. And this year, the Patriots are ready to bounce back and claim the title once again. The games are between the 23rd and 27th of August. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com.
Brilliantly taken.
Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Enjoy your summer with the Bank of Nevis Limited. It's that time, and the bank has the perfect summer loan package for you. Take a vacation, enjoy a staycation, advance yourself academically, or prepare your children for back to school. It's your choice with up to $30,000 unsecured loan with an attractive low interest rate. Additionally, up to 5 years to repay. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Offer ends September 30th, 2023. Bond strong.
Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society presents its annual Summer Emancipation Festival. It takes place on Sunday, 20th August, starting at 3 p.m. sharp. Admission, $15 for adults, $5 for children. Come and be entertained in the art forms of calypso, dance, folklore, and much more. This event is sponsored by the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank, Caribbean Credit Card Corporation Limited, Elco Limited, and TDC Group of Companies. See you this coming Sunday.
After 9 o'clock, that's the sound of Bruce Skerritt and the Liamiga Project from his last album, the late Bruce Skerritt. The track is called Old Road. But we're going to be talking Brimstone Hill now with
But I'm enjoying this
Percy
track,
Hanley.
though.
Yeah.
My face lit up when you said Old Road.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy.
God.
Look what
Here we
you
go.
did.
Here
Look
we
what
go.
you did.
So we're going to have an interview. I know persons have been tuned in to the Embassy Talk. We're going to continue it after our talk. So guys, we encourage you to stick and stay.
All right. Good
Yes.
morning and welcome to Island Tea. We have with us Mr. Percival Hanley.
Yes.
And so tell us why you're visiting us today.
Good morning. It's great to be here. And thank you for having me as your guests on this show.
No problem.
I am here to talk to the public about a wonderful event coming up very shortly, this coming Sunday. It's the Emancipation Festival 2023, and it is being staged by the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society. Each year we try to have this concert as a social outreach. Brimstone Hill in its work as Brimstone Hill Society in its work as the caretakers of a national monument, as it were. We feel that from time to time it's necessary to reach out to our public and get them involved with events with Brimstone Hill. So this event, the Emancipation Festival, is held during Emancipation Month, which is August each year. We haven't had it for the last 3 or so years, and everybody knows why. Because of COVID, we had to stop all public gathering type of events, and so those events had to be suspended. But this year we're trying to come back, and we're asking the public to support us in that effort. It's going to be a nice concert. Just as an additional plug for those who are interested in listening, the next event we're going to have as a social outreach will be our Brimstone Hill Run for the Fit and Fearless, which comes up in September.
Nice.
September 30, so mark the date on your calendar. For all those who love to run, it's an event where we get people to run from the bottom of the hill to the top.
I like that you said fit and fearless because let me tell you, even driving up there, so definitely fit and fearless.
And it takes some good fitness to do it. And we have some guys who are pretty fast. They do a good job. But we have age categories for all ages. But we'll talk more about that later on. Right now we're talking about the Emancipation Festival.
Right.
And each year we have a theme. And this year's theme is Reflections of Our Cultural Heritage. Getting people to look back and think about our cultural heritage and where we've come from and where we're heading to. And to try to put that in perspective. And to do that and to help them to reflect on that, we have a cast of performers who will be doing songs, poetry, skits, dances, etc., that will be related to the topic and we'll have some reflection also on the month, which is Emancipation Month.
Right. And can you tell us what does it cost to get in and what time does it start?
The price is only to say we are charging, but of course, if people realize when we have to pay all these artists and all the other expenses that we'll have, it doesn't really cut the butter. But it's only $15 for adults, EC, not even US, 15 EC. So it's like buying an ice cream and a drink, you know. For kids, it's only 5 EC.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, you can't beat that price.
Can't beat that price.
I was very shocked when you said 15. Like, what?
Yeah, so it's hardly a price.
Yes.
But
yes.
it's just so that we can recoup something to help the artists, but it still doesn't do. As a matter of fact, that is where our sponsors have come in. We have a few sponsors that have come to our assistance, and so we like to thank them publicly for their generosity. They are the St. Kitts Tourism Authority. They came forward and assist us. The St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla National Bank, the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, 4Cs Credit Card Corporation, Elco Limited, and the TDC. And so we'd like to thank our sponsors for their contributions and for helping us to bring this event to the public and make sure that we keep not only in contact with the public, but also that the public knows and participates with us in our efforts to maintain Brimstone Hill.
And you know, I always plan to go to this, and then something always comes up. But I noticed that you said you guys are back after like a hiatus. So definitely this should be one for the books because everybody looks forward to this. We haven't really had an emancipation celebration per se in this month. So I think you guys are going to be the headliner.
Well,
so.
we hope so. And we have been trying to put it out on social media and the radio stations. And thank you, WINNFM, also for assisting with that. So the radio stations will be playing the jingle. And we have been blasting it on social media. So we hope people don't just look at it and wink, but that they come on out in their numbers. It's a wonderful Sunday afternoon to just relax in the beautiful ambience of Brimstone Hill. At the top of a hill, nice breeze, nice surroundings, spiritual air, you know, and just relax and enjoy some good entertainment. Right. There will also be a few things like food. There'll be vendors who'll be selling food, snacks, and even other goodies that the public might be interested in tasting, seeing, having, buying.
Can you give us a hint as to some of the performers? Because I'm already thinking, like, I know the drummer should be there. I'm looking forward to seeing Royd's performance because I missed it one year and I saw it, a video of it.
And we don't want that to happen to everybody or anybody.
Right.
Where they miss it. When they see it, they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that." Because watching it on TV doesn't have half the effect as seeing it live. Okay. Right. But since you ask, we have people like our house band is Rhapsody. It's a nice small band out of Sandy Point, and they have performed on our show from time to time. So they do a good job. But you know, Zax, Doctor of Culture, he has a youth band.
Yes.
They are very energetic young performers. I mean, Zax does a great job of getting these guys to show so much skill and so much energy.
This is true. Yeah. This is true. I don't know how he keeps them in check.
It's amazing how they perform, and they're going to be there. So you want to see Zax's youth string band, come on out and see them. Then we'll have people like Kendra Hutton, a wonderful singer, Synergy Dance Movement, the Brotherhood Drummers.
Oh, they're really good.
Okay, you see. We're going to have John Toboy, EBJ Harmonics, Alamulu.
This is nice.
Famous Calypsonian. Nice. We even have King Socrates, the House of Judah. We have even folklore, the St. Peter's Bull Troop, the actors, the masquerades, and they are going to be doing the cultural performances.
Good.
We have Carissa Willett.
Yes, our queen.
That's right, queen. She's going to be there. We have, who else have I not mentioned? Queen Shah, Simba. And if Simba is hearing me, I would like him to contact our office, please. We have Erica Edwards and Lofton Tatum. He is a poet and spoken word and dramatist. Right.
So it's a nice mix of our local talent.
And that's exactly what we're trying to produce. A good mix of local talent that will give everybody a little piece of all the great things that we have talent-wise in St. Kitts.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. So you've sold me, and I don't think I have anything slated for Sunday. So
someone on the Facebook page actually said, "I love to do that Brimstone Hill run. It seems like a good challenge."
Oh my!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, and there prizes in lots of categories, from kids right up to seniors. Mm-hmm. So don't think I'm too old for this. Mm-hmm. Come on out and give yourself some exercise and give yourself a challenge.
We should have a competition in here, innit?
A challenge.
Yeah. I already know I'm going to be at the top waiting to cheer the person.
I don't know why y'all looking at me.
Can get together and decide that you'll challenge one another.
Yes. I'll be a cheerleader. I'm already telling you, I can't make that run. I'll sit at the top.
I'm sure Jamsi is going to beat you all anyway.
Probably. Yeah. But we're definitely looking forward to it. And
Percy's saying that because Percy's not joking, you know. He knows what he's talking about.
So
sounds like he's challenging you.
Yeah, I feel like what he's going to do is he's going to bring food if we don't beat him in the race.
You're on.
Yeah.
But here's what. We'll go to the concert on Sunday, so you can get like a feel of the terrain, and then you can sign up for the run.
Someone asks, how many miles is it?
Miles? It's probably not even a mile.
It's not a long course.
It's more about the incline, right?
Yeah, the incline is what kills.
It doesn't have any downs.
Yes.
It's all up. But I don't think it's more than about maybe a mile and a quarter, a mile and a half, thereabouts. Mm-hmm. But a mile and a half going uphill seems like 5.
Listen, it is steep.
Not discouraging anybody, but just encouraging you to get yourself fit now. You know about it in time. Start hitting those hills and getting the lungs and the legs ready.
Challenge issued. Thank you so much for popping in. And just give us some info just before you leave, again, about the event on Sunday.
Okay, so the event is Sunday, the 20th of August. That's this coming Sunday. It starts at 3 p.m. And what I'd like people to know is that if, for example, you don't have transport and you live anywhere in the country, once you can get a bus to the bottom of Brimstone Hill by what we call the Cock and Henry.
Right.
You just walk up to the Cock and Henry, we'll have a shuttle there that will take you up and
too
bring you
easy.
Back down.
So there's no excuse.
So there's no excuse. You can't say, well,
and the price is right.
I have a trans and I can't walk all the way up there. We have transport to take you up free of cost. Awesome. So you can come and you can get up there and get back down without a problem.
Awesome.
Okay? And if you have a car and you don't like driving the hill, like you said, so what you do is just park at the bottom, take the shuttle, and you're up the hill.
You guys have thought of everything.
Yes.
Okay. So it's the Emancipation Festival, and it's going to be Sunday, August 20th at 3 p.m. And the admission is $15 for adults and $5 for children. And so you really can't beat that. And we have a lot of local performers. So see you guys on Sunday.
A lot of good local performers.
Ooh.
Yes. Thank you so much
for popping in.
Thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
Yes. Awesome. Have a good day today.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
No problem.
Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society presents its annual Summer Emancipation Festival. It takes place on Sunday, 20th August, starting at 3 p.m. sharp. Admission, $15 for adults, $5 for children. Come and be entertained in the art forms of calypso, dance, folklore, and much more. This event is sponsored by the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank, Caribbean Credit Card Corporation Limited, Elco Limited, and TDC Group of Companies. See you this coming Sunday.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
And we are back. And this is the actual Bruce Carey track called Brimstone Hill Bop now.
This is it?
This is Brimstone Hill Bop now. Yeah.
I'm
Bruce
gonna
Carey.
need you to send these. These are really nice.
Yeah, from his.
Like I could listen to these and do work.
So I am here
So
on.
you guys ready to go back to the phone?
Yes.
Definitely.
We have
They're calls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yes. Hi.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, caller.
Wonder if they're not hearing.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Maybe we're
in
here.
while we were speaking, I actually looked for the embassies.
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Caller, go right ahead.
Yes. Good day again.
Hey.
Are you still on the topic of the embassy?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Actually, I was quite surprised at the announcement coming out of cabinet. I thought that would probably have been best done behind the scenes, at least at this particular moment, because essentially we are not going to be able to influence what they do. And it's all, I think, going to boil down to a matter of lobbying. And we probably we had done much better if we had tried to get the support of, like, the offshore universities, etc. here, U.S. interests here, to lobby, like the Congress people and senators, etc., to influence where the location eventually comes. Okay, because I suspect, and remember that Antigua was first out the door with this when Gaston Brown practically, he was really begging them to set up base in Antigua.
To reinstate it.
Or
because they had one,
reinstate it because they had one there.
Yeah, I am, Mr. Maham, before you go on, I am kind of surprised that so many people oppose it because...
You think they're opposing it?
Don't you?
I feel like everybody just wants more info.
I just think the detractors just louder than everybody else right now. Yeah.
Like you, that there were some people who were skeptical about it, who I guess about the intentions really of having an
because
embassy. But the fact remains, most people, when they go overseas for vacation, for instance, that's one of the first places they go to. All right, and historically, we've had a lot of migration to the U.S. Virgin Islands, right? And we have these offshore schools, as we say here, and so when you look at the throughput, it would make sense to set up an embassy here.
And then we have embassies here already. We have, based on this website, that's www.embassyworldwide.com. It states that St. and Nevis has the Embassy of Brazil in Bastia, the Embassy of Cuba in Bastia, the Embassy of Taiwan in Bastia. And we have embassies based on this website. Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis is in Belgium. We have an Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis in Jamaica. We have an Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis in the United Kingdom. And we also have an embassy and a permanent mission of St. Kitts and Nevis in Washington, USA.
All these embassies, though, or at the level of consul representation?
There are a few embassies
There are
here, but
actual embassies
they're more consuls representation here than embassies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect so. But the thing is, I think it would serve our interests more if we lobbied for more easy access to the U.S. and its territories. For example, what Bahamas and Aruba has, and to some extent the British Virgin Islands, okay, where, for instance, they would, if you're going to the U.S., for instance, the U.S. Customs and Immigration have a presence in those places, and so it's like your first, before you actually leave the particular island, you go through immigration and customs there. So
Yes.
it's as if
like a
once
check-in
you
point.
get on the flight, it's almost like an internal flight.
Yeah, it's a check-in.
Okay, that I think would serve our interests more so than an embassy, right? Because an embassy really, I'm not so sure exactly what would be the benefits apart from employing, if you look at the Barbados example, for instance, employing a few locals, probably high-paying jobs too.
Well, I was going to ask you that. We're going to get more airlifts because more persons are going to be coming here. There are going to be more increased hotel stays. So there is a possibility that we're going to get more jobs.
Because who will the embassy here serve?
Let me share this before we go on. Let me share this article that was on July 16, 2023, and it says Antiguan government designates land for U.S. embassy, and it goes on to say that the government of Antigua and Barbuda has revealed that it has designated a plot of land for the use of the U.S. government ahead of an announcement on the 2 Eastern Caribbean countries that will be selected for an embassy. The U.S. State Department recently revealed that the Joe Biden administration was considering the establishment of 2 embassies in the sub-region. And while no declaration has been made yet, it is widely expected that Antigua will be chosen as one of the 2 sites, as one of the countries with the greatest population.
Not Gaston, then assigned.
Prime Minister Gaston Brown has commented on the matter in recent times, expressing confidence that Antigua and Barbuda will be one of the countries chosen. The opposition United Progressive Party is also hopeful of an embassy being established in Antigua, saying it is just this week that they would welcome such a move. Chief of Staff in the Prime Minister's office told media during the weekly post-cabinet media briefing on Thursday that they're eagerly anticipating the U.S. government's decision. Quote, "We have established an embassy row of sorts in Maple Hill. The Chinese have built an embassy there, and the Indians have asked us to set aside an acre of land on which they will build a residence and very likely some offices. The Dominican Republic has also been granted a piece of land for the purpose of constructing an embassy at some point in time in the future. We believe that the United States may wish to do so as well."
Well, hold on, stick up in there. We have a Taiwanese embassy here, and the U.S. is an ally of Taiwan.
I was just about
Gaston kind of put in the cart before the horse, no?
And you see Gaston pushing?
Gaston then
To me, this is one area where you really should work with your mouth shut.
Right.
It's really a case of lobbying. I mean, coming out there and making these announcements, honestly, is going to look foolish if you're not true.
But the article goes on. The article goes on to say residents in Antigua and Barbuda previously enjoyed the presence of a U.S. embassy for a number of years in the late 1990s, but have, for decades since, been forced to travel to the U.S. embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados, for visa processing services. Countries including Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are also served by that embassy.
Right. So I think we're going to get some spill-off. If they do indeed come here, we can get some of the spill-off.
Candy, who's going to be coming here?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is the spill-off. The Antiguans, the Dominicans, some of the other countries you just listed.
But you see, when I heard about the cabinet briefing, I was thinking, okay, they're looking at Eastern Caribbean countries, and the first thought was, well, isn't Prime Minister Brown aware of this? Because knowing him, he usually is somebody who would grab at these opportunities.
You must not know Gaston.
And then I see this article.
Yeah, it did come over as a kind of a teaser more than anything else.
Gaston
right?
is a problem.
Because again, if you can speculate on the 2 most likely countries in the Eastern Caribbean, Grenada comes to mind.
Yeah, I didn't think we would be one for real.
Right, Grenada comes to mind, and I suspect that St. Lucia is so close to Barbados that
and St. Kitts is so close to Antigua.
But
St. Kitts is also central.
Antigua
in the chain.
us,
So, but
right? And you know what might come into the mix?
What's that?
The fact that the U.S. owes Antigua for that WTO judgment. There may be some negotiations going on that, okay, I scrap the claim and an embassy goes here. I suspect things like that happen But again, that's probably behind the scene.
But let me ask you, Ira, you don't think the fact that maybe we are one of the few Taiwanese allies that might play a role in it maybe coming here, or you think that perhaps the Americans might also want to keep tabs on the Chinese in Antigua, so they might choose
I suspect they want to keep tabs on the Chinese. I honestly feel so. The relations with Taiwan are pretty secure, right? It's informal, but Taiwan has nowhere else to go. They regard Taiwan as an ally,
yes,
and China as competition. And I'm just like how China set up a spy, or were trying to set up a spy base in Cuba. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if the U.S. don't try a similar thing, and we're better to try it than a place in Antigua. By the way, they had a base there too, eh?
Yes.
Just like they had in Barbados that closed down. They had a submarine base in Antigua or something like that. So there's that historical connection, right, which we can't avoid. But
so we probably lose out.
Yeah, but like I said, if we try for more access, I think that is more within our grasp, because of the fact that we probably meet at least the standard of what do you call it, GDP per capita and those kinds of things, which come into play in these as well as on a per capita basis, the number of U.S. citizens and interests that are on the island. Okay, but in the final analysis, I think it's going to come down to lobbying, and certainly public pronouncements at this stage would not put any pressure on the U.S. What would put pressure on them is if their citizens and their companies, their financial interests, lobby the appropriate people in the State Department and the U.S. government to determine the location of the embassy. That is where I think we should be going. That, and making sure that we have easier access to the U.S. in terms of what I mentioned, immigration, a station with immigration and customs on your soil. That would work wonders, I think, for us.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, now.
Thanks for your input. So we see that the U.S. is considering two countries within the Eastern Caribbean. So
let's see how that goes.
Antigua has already designated a plot of land.
I find that so insane. But you know
but
what? He's advertising.
That's one thing. They're always bullish
but
that.
That is so him though to do something like
that. And they were they were so insufferable during the period when they had the embassy. Antigans. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be real.
But I mean, let's look at the positives that it would bring. It could bring, increase airlift here in St. Kitts and Nevis, opportunities and
that's why I focused on that part of the article, because I feel like that was the selling point to us, the citizens, and also what they would look at in terms of making the decision in our government. Yes. We have a call?
We have a call.
Hello, good morning.
Greetings, IT.
Hey,
Greetings.
How are you?
I am well, once you all are well,
Awesome,
Amen.
Thank you.
The 17th of August, we want to say blessed day tomorrow, Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Yes.
The man who said, up, 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 you mighty race. And the man who said, look to the east at the crowning of a king of kings. Yes, right. Sam, we are listening concerning. You know who we see right now in front of us. Colonel Gaddafi. Yeah. We are seeing as we have the conversation going on about American embassy.
Tell us.
Yeah, we are seeing, and we are so gullible. We are so ungrateful. We are so ungrateful. It's terrible, The way things are going. It's not go right, things is not going right at all. Yeah? They say, there's a saying, say, we complain too much. But the complaining going to stop, you know. It's going to be replaced with action. Yeah, that is what is going to be happening globally. Not just in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Globally. We have a generation coming up that there ain't going to be no more talk.
I'm afraid you're right,
Because
yes.
Beg pardon? I'm sorry.
No, I agreed with you. I said you're right.
Yeah, because evidence, everything is obvious. Everything is clear, crystal. Which direction this system, this global system will go. Yeah? And it is not fair to the most of the people in the earth. So it's going to reach to a point where talking going to stop. And it's going to just be action. Be action. Be looking forward to that. Blessed love.
Blessed love.
IT.
This generation is not to be played with for real. We're going to take a break. We have another call. Oh. All right, so we're going to take a break and come back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
And we are back. 9:34. We have a call coming in at the moment, so we're gonna go straight to the phone line.
Hello. Oops.
Okay. Call back. Okay. So and true to form, like I was telling you guys.
We went to the break.
Yeah, people started calling. Where they do that at? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. Okay, here we go. Island T, you're on.
Good morning, the Queen, a king and a prince.
Oh my, good morning.
Remember Jam staying like kings like that, you know, so you...
Well, Azard,
yes.
It's for you and Jam to work out who's the king.
Just the calypso one.
He was just
the soca one.
the kings.
But I know Candisie ain't got nothing to work out with nobody.
Exactly. Thank you. How are you this morning?
I'm going to make him the Lord Chancellor, okay?
Once it's not of the exchequer.
Candice, look, I'm trying to be cool, but I cannot be cool outside, so I'm drinking a load of water to cool inside.
Boy, yeah, it's really hot.
Yeah.
I, as usual, I like to be in class when you all are teaching. So I come to support the kind of oldish Carlo this morning.
Share your
with
view.
what he said. Hello?
Share your view. Let's hear.
Yeah, with what he said about Candisie. He's correct. Candisie was interviewed twice on two different occasions by Tony Frederick. And the first time, Candisie asked him if he's interested in politics. He said, no, never. Anyway, the second interview, when he came back, Tony asked him, why you going into politics? It's for money. He said no. It's because he loves his country. And I find it funny to see, well, then you are in an American country where the currency is higher than the EC. And he was pursuing the course that he studied. And he going to give up that and come back and say he didn't come to work for money? No, I don't believe in that. That was totally, untruth.
You feel so?
And then to see, after last year's election, they went to New York, to the embassy. 15 of them, 14 Kitishon and a Chinese woman. And while they're up there, Candie's grandmother died in news, and he come down for the funeral, and then he went back up the next day. Where he pay for the ticket from me? He own money or taxpayers' money?
Oh, come on.
You know, I mean, if you come down for a funeral, stay. He done went up there, and you up there with them people. Okay, you either stay up there and do what you went up there for, and then when you come down, or you send down whatever sympathy to your grandmother. But you don't rush down a day for the funeral and then rush back up again. And
But
he
he was
forget
at
what
work.
he said earlier. Eh?
He was at work, no? So he had to go back to work, no? I'm just asking.
Candice, I don't know what he went up there for, but enough 15 of them went up to the embassy, the United Nations.
Right.
And I don't know what they went for, 15 of them. Why not the Prime Minister and his secretary? Anyway, I don't know what I went for, so I leave it there. But I just called to concur with the Olish man, the man who say he Olish.
Do you think that any of the politicians that we have went in there for love of country and to actually help the country?
I can tell you something. Love of the country is part of it. But the Arthur Louis Elizabeth is the most important part. Because if they go from here to Booby Island, they get in porks. If they go Santo Domingo, they get in porks. And not one kind of pork. Many different porks. So everybody want more and more what you call Arthur Elizabeth Lewis. That is what all politicians looking at that. And the little piece of love what some of them have for the country, well, that is included. And they have to show where they love the country. Otherwise, if they don't show that they love the country, zoop, come out to India, you ain't getting no more porks. So they got to show, I love the country, but then the porks behind is the more interest in it.
Oh boy.
Candy,
That
you want me
goes
to
to our
answer?
politician.
You want me to answer your question?
Yeah.
3 words. They're all dead.
I want Azard to answer.
You understand what I mean? You ask
Thank
if
you so
people,
much
you
for
ask
the
if
call.
politicians do it for love of country. My answer is, they're all dead.
Oh my. So you don't think that?
No.
What? Azard, jump in here.
I think there are some, but I think there's some, but
I thought that was the moving force. Like you want to make a change. The only way to make the change is to do it yourself, no?
At least he's not offended.
no, I don't consider myself a politician because
You don't consider yourself a politician?
Yeah, because again, I have never ran for general elections.
Okay.
I have never contested.
But you're a
I've never
budding
been-
politician, right?
Well, I am a person who is interested in nation building and politics. Whether or not I would
See,
be
you see
a
what
part,
he said, nation building. And I
Yeah.
think that's why most persons go in. Like, I've never had the call, never had the feel to go into it. But we all, in our own right, in our own little corner, want the best for our country. And
for
so
me,
that's one of the ways to get it done.
For me, it has never been for love of money, because really and truly, the salaries as it is not attractive, and that's why I said too. Yes.
Finish your thought. That's
and
what you said.
and that's why I said that if politicians focus on the salaries that they're getting when they're going into,
They wouldn't go.
Then they won't go.
Because
so I think that it shouldn't be what I'm trying to say is, even with the increase and everything like that, I mean, yeah, but then at the end of the day, you look at it, that is a public service.
It is.
You know, you shouldn't be guided by the
We're not hearing
salaries,
the
but
call.
guided by the service.
Wait, we're not hearing you. Sorry. Hello?
I was trying to let Azard finish.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes,
caller.
go ahead, please.
Yes, greetings and love to you all. I'm Brother Azard.
Yeah.
I'd like to follow on something now. I call up all of them for us, and we like to see the American embassy come here to St. Kitts and Nevis with the dialogue towards or taken in the aspect from Mama Henry speak. Now, I would like to outline something to the Virgin because he made some emphasis and some describe of what the Americans have done to create world peace. But we like to ask him in his general fairness and conscience, are you serious of that statement? Because if you're that serious, why is it that we see Brother Gaddafi was killed by the same crooked America you support on his own rights in his land, and you still kill Marcus Garvey, you still kill Malcolm X, and you kill Martin Luther King on those soil of the same America. So when we look at things, when you look at things and how you're stating it, you have to bring full in real life that these people that you so hold up is not run by the government of America, it's a corporation that is stand by within the Masons, and the Masons are the one who control the American system, and they dictate what or how things should be aligned for their policy making to the global world. So my brother, you better look at what you said and understand this criminal system that you try to hold up. Call American United States of America. It's not a United States, it's a corporation run by gangsters who control by guns, wars, and famine. That is what they love. So let me put it to that Virgin state without any fear or favor. No, him not to write and say he don't have his discourse to what America is doing, but don't try to tell us that America can't turn world peace because it's a lie. That's a total lie without any fear or favor. They even kill Maurice Bishop. They kill Edgar Mevin in front of his child and his children. So if you really serious, my brother, about world peace, look at the backyard of those thieving cook who control American citizens in by the way of the economical power. Blessed love.
Have a good one today. What were you saying, Azard? I feel
Yeah. Okay, so he was responding to a previous caller. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, what I was saying in terms of politician and I think persons, is a public service. The attraction should be not glorious salaries or maybe perks, but the ability to do something impactful on a national basis. Go ahead, caller.
Have a call. Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I just want to respond to a point that was just being made concerning politicians. I think the point was that politicians are more interested in themselves than in the country, but they do enough to get by. But the primary objective is self-aggrandizement. Did I get that point correctly?
I would say yes.
Okay, let me put this to us, and let me also use the analogy of lawyers. A lot of people, maybe most people, say how bad and lie lawyers are, but when they go to lawyers, they will tell the lawyer what they want the lawyer to know, and tell the lawyer they'll do anything for them to win. Anything. Similarly in politics, and I can tell you this from experience, I'm not cynical if I may sound so. I am not really cynical. But when you go to people and they say, well, I want this for me and I want that for my brother and I want that for my mother, and you say, so what about the community? What about the country? And in different ways they will tell you, well, I ain't interested in all that. It's me I'm interested in. If you want me vote, this is what I want. So politicians come from the community, and there's an ethos, a psyche, a mentality in the community of materialism, personalism, self-interest, and all of these things. And so you can't expect the product of a community like that to be much different from that community. So I think when we're looking at it, while it is true, a number of people seek power for their own personal interest, and not only in politics, but in business, something behind me. In business, in all areas of endeavor. I don't think politics is any different, really, when it comes, because you're dealing with the human mind and human reality. And I could tell you from my experience that some of the things that people ask you for or demand, not just ask you for. I remember when before I finished, when I was going into politics, a gentleman came to me and said, are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you clearly.
But, this was in 1992. A gentleman of substance. He said he would support me in a number of ways and help to finance my campaign. When you go to the market, after you've paid, you see that long list, the receipt, and those are the things he said he wanted for himself. And I asked him if that's what he wanted for just one vote. So whether it's that person or anybody else, not in every case, but generally speaking, people are looking out for their personal interest. And we have to change our mentality to move from transactionalism to altruism, the best interest for the group. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling.
The thing that struck me though, Dwyer, I don't think even if you were cynical, I don't think it would be misplaced or unjustified though. You guys,
but everybody
given
does
his
that.
experience,
It's all, whether no matter how good of a person you are, you still look out for yourself first. So it's inevitable. But I like
so if he was cynical, he would be justified.
But I like the fact that he said we have to move away from the transactional behavior because that is too prevalent here. How do we do that though?
But he made a good point. I mean, when he said that, the point about lawyers being lawyers, and oftentimes
people always say that.
When clients come, they present sometimes the story that they want you to go with base.
He was dead right with that.
Based on
isn't lawyer just another way of saying lawyer? No, I'm kidding. I'm just.
I hope you never need a lawyer. No, but he's absolutely right with that because they tell you their side and what they want you to do.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Happy Earth Strong to Marcus Garvey. Today is Marcus Garvey's birthday.
Yes.
And I will say, instead of politics, we need logistics. Because politics is a pile of tricks, and about agenda. We need logistics that is about reality. Keep it logical. You understand? So we does not need politics because politics was introduced by the Jews in the 15th century, the so-called Jews. Those are white people who call themselves Jews. They're not. They're the synagogue of Satan. They came with the trickery, which is about on the premises of propaganda to make one party seem like they're better than the other. But we are here to focus on logistics, to keep things logical, the reality of what is affecting the masses. So we got to keep it logical. Thank you. I'm Master Arjun. One love, peace and love to everyone.
Peace and love. Have a good one today.
I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, a lot of persons, have various opinions on different things.
Of course,
yeah, and
that's
so
part
we welcome
of life.
all of those opinions.
That is part
I
of
actually
life.
think if we did a scientific poll about the embassy, I think more people would be for it than against. I just think that the detractors are maybe louder than the. It's one of those things where because most people, when most people agree with something, they don't say anything.
Well, there's also a thought that we need it because our main source of income is practically dead in the water.
And there wouldn't be need for creativity now.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Caller.
Good morning.
Yes, the critical question was asked, I think, how do you stop this? Right? And in my opinion, how you stop it, that is people going into politics for the wrong reasons, is one, make sure that the systems of governance are such that they are kept accountable.
Checks and balances.
It's interesting when the good governance agenda was first mooted. There was one particular person in the parliament who said, with these kinds of changes, I'm going to have to consider leaving politics. He was very cynical about it. But that, for one, helps to keep things in check.
Right.
The other thing that would do it is term limits. Yes, a politician who is intending to really benefit from the system, he can do a lot of damage in one term. But at least he's limited to 1 or 2 terms at most. Okay, so there's at least renewal, some kind of renewal and change. Okay, and things don't become systemic. That is what I think would prevent the abuse and the excesses that people who get power. It's very difficult when you have power to do something to not do it, right? And it's very difficult, as you pointed out, if you see that you can benefit from a system personally and get away with it, to not do it. It really takes strength of character to, to temper your actions. And so that is why the systems themselves must be designed. It won't stop it totally, but at least limit the type of abuse of power and the corruption and the nepotism and the back scratching and, those kinds of things. And by the way, if you were to look at the people, and I'm speaking generally now, who have gone into politics, very few of them come out poor. So you can't say that they're not, well, it might not be the salaries, it may be that there are other means of getting money, whether under the table or otherwise. But the net effect of all of that is you see very, very few, if any, poor politicians. So that in itself is an incentive for people to get into politics, right? And they may start out okay, but it's just the trappings of power. And that is why the systems that we're building must be made to work. And we don't just put them there for style and show and tick off a box, but they must work. And the people who are monitoring and keeping those people accountable should do their work, right? Because too often people are chosen based on the fact that, well, they're not going to mash any toes or they're going to be grateful for being appointed to that particular area and forget about their conscience and their morals and whatever else and just do the bidding. It's so easier. It's so easy to just do that. It's easier to do that than to really go against the system, right? And that I think is the problem. That's where the rubber hit the road.
Yep, that's the test.
In terms of getting a change to what we have now.
That's the test, indeed. Thank you so much for your call. I just got a comment saying that we need to use referendums, discuss referendums as a way of keeping us in check, as a democratic feature. And I feel like we don't do that enough. And it comes back to the same discussion we were having. No one really knew about this embassy. It was just kind of like a decision that, well, it hasn't been made as yet, but we're now all hearing of it, and it's been relatively quiet. If not for this article, probably would not have heard anything. You said we have a call. Hello, good morning.
Greetings again, IT. Sir, Marcus Messiah Garvey, he's seeing the kind of elements that get involved with the Westminster style politics and the kind of attitude, the kind of flexing from those people. He himself get involved with politics, with the PPP party, People's Political Party. And I think there was one of some kind of thing at one time he won. I don't think it's the general election, and he was in prison at the time. He won. I don't remember what it is. But what Marcus said about people who are in position and who are serving, hearing the sound about payments, He said, pay such persons well. Pay such persons well. But once it is observed that they are mixed down in corruption and robbing what people, the masses ought to be benefiting from. He says stone them. He says stone them and stone the family, the husband or the wife and the children. Marcus said that.
Wow.
And perhaps we need to put flesh on these words so that people who put themselves up as servants of the people serve or bear the consequences. Not just vote them out and a new one come in. No. Action. Like we were just talking about before. Action. Marcus said, let them and their families feel it once they go and do things that they ought not to do and continue the suffering of the people. We just wanted to inject that.
Wow.
Blessed love.
Powerful, blessed love. Powerful. I did not know he said that.
Yeah.
That is insane. That is like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't even use the word insane, but it's intense. Because it's basically saying how to remove them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some Sharia law stuff, right?
Right? It's intense.
Let's take another one. Caller, go right ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I was wondering if the shelves in the supermarket gotta get less, if the cost of food got to rise to what margin before we, the people, and those elected to manage, realize that food security is to national security. And then something to think about. Maybe it's one of the reasons for the embassy to come. One, to guarantee that we do not rise to food sustainability. And two, to maintain the no more clear skies. We don't have clear skies no more. They say it's the dust, but surprisingly, this dust is not falling. Something is wrong. We're getting sick. It's true, really. Why is America coming? What are they coming to oversee? I mean, I ain't got a problem in the embassy or not there. And the thing on the up and up, if it's all good. But looking at the world today, journey keep hitting, and nobody really paying too much attention. But if we're looking at the direction of the world today, you see food in a short time is going to become one of the things the most highest in demand, more than gold and petrol, more than oil and gas, because we could walk and we could cook on wood.
Okay, great point.
We need to be paying attention to what is happening. Everything is not everything. Nothing is as it seems. Have a good day. Bless
Okay,
up.
great.
Thank you.
That's
so
a
much.
that's a good point to end the show, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Give you guys the last word.
Yeah, so guys, very interesting show. I want to say thank you for all the input that you have made and being so engaging this morning. We have a lot to look at
Think
this
about,
today.
yes.
We have the PLP's press conference. We have the Prime Minister on the freedom.
Yes.
We're going to see some takes. I encourage persons, to look
tune
at.
in.
Yeah, because we're
so
going to have
can
discuss
it
tomorrow.
Yes. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
Yes.
Fruta full of vitamin thing. Real fruit juice, not full of vitamin. Pop open the goodness, just dive in. Fruta every night, fruta every morning.
It's the amazing taste and quality in fruit juice you've come to know and love. Anytime, anywhere, any occasion. Fruta is your tastier, better, healthier choice.
We got the vibes, Fruta. Real, real nice, Fruta.
And for the families, remember to pick up the 1 liter.